What's going on, everyone? This is me, Pick6, or Anton, back today. And today I wanted to talk about the single most underused, underrated vehicle in Battlefield 3, and that's by far the AMTRAC. First things first, I'd like to say thank you to my good buddy Daniel, being the selfless one who volunteered to be the driver in the background video you're watching. The driver of the AMTRAC, I'll get into it more as we go, but obviously has little glory and probably won't pick up a ton of points other than assists. But the person playing this role, in this case Daniel, is extremely, immensely beneficial to the team. So thanks for taking one for the team here, Dan, even though I know you actually like driving it. Basically, going back to what I said earlier, it's not used enough. Probably because it's not glorious, especially if you're the driver, because all you can do is run people over. The second gunner seat is the only actual defense position. The reason I can think no one actually wants to use this thing is because it doesn't rack up a ton of kills. There's not a lot of firepower on it. And plus the other thing is I think people are lazy and they don't want to bring the AMTRAC over from the carrier, especially like in Norshar. So I can imagine maybe laziness is a bit of a factor. Not sure. But yeah, basically get over the laziness, start using it. There's an awful lot of pluses about this vehicle that you probably either knew yet neglected, or maybe you didn't know, which I wanted to cover. And basically this thing is all about team play. Isn't that what Battlefield 3 is about? With the AMTRAC, it's all about transport. It can fit a total of 6 people, which is half of a console lobby in it. It has natural reactive armor according to the Battlefield Wiki. And by natural, before you troll fucking idiots out there to say something, it's basically it has it attached. So it's not like you can go through, you know, equipment and attachments for the thing to put it on. It just naturally has it. But of course, it doesn't have a lot of specializations with it. But the thing is, it can take an absolute beating. It's a mobile spawn point, so the team can spawn on it at any time. It's especially useful when it comes to rush mode, because sometimes all it takes is one soldier and a good driver, as you're going to see in the background with me and Daniel here, to defend a planted MCOM. Best case scenario of 6 people in it represents you with a great attacking opportunity. An interesting point about this vehicle as well, that you probably, although it's logical, you probably just didn't even think of it to even do it, it cannot be stolen by the enemy team. As you'll see several times throughout this video, the AMTRAC's the perfect vehicle to take out the other team's anti-air and Norshar canals. Or anything really. I'm sure there's other vehicle options in PC, but for us console players, the AMTRAC's the best in Norshar. As said earlier, it can take an enormous beating, and it can dish out punishment to a relatively easy to disable anti-air vehicle. So find it, charge it, and use the heavy machine gun to disable it. As long as the enemy team isn't defending it ferociously, or the driver of the AMTRAC isn't a complete idiot, you should win every engagement versus that anti-air. But obviously, killing that anti-air dramatically affects the other team, because now your team can bring in infantry, and the helicopters can transport just as many people to over the MCOMs. So it plays a huge role. When planting an MCOM, placement is key. Place it right next to the MCOM, plant, then hop into the gunner seat and defend is a rather effective strategy. That's, of course, if you don't have a driver and you're the only driver yourself. The only risk, of course, comes with C4 support players. But you shouldn't be in good shape if many defense players attack with RPGs, because as said earlier, this thing can take a staggering amount of punishment. But of course not in the back, because just like every other vehicle, vehicles are vulnerable at the back. Another point about it being a mobile spawn is even if you don't use its ability to take damage and transport soldiers, bringing it to the shore alone and leaving it in a not exposed area is another effective strategy. Place it out of sight and you have a constant mobile spawn beacon basically to put pressure on the enemy. The worst thing I think you could do is not use it, especially in rush mode. With all the points above mentioned working in its favor, not using it hurts your team. And I can confidently say that just about every single rush match that I've won and lost have come from using the AMTRAC. So, my point is, use it. Thanks for watching.